Hi there, welcome to my presentation on the piece Song for Raina by Philip Sparke for euphonium and piano. This is a piece that I really enjoy both listening to and playing it. I will be talking about the various phrases found in it and how they are structured, along with some additional observations. Let us begin by taking a listen to the piece while also following the large scale form of it. Man, we begin in the key of A flat major with a 9-bar phrase. Already off to a great start, form wise. As you can see here, we have an antecedent with a half cadence, followed by a continuation. This, of course, means that this phrase is indeed a hybrid number one of Kaplan's theme types, antecedent plus continuation. The continuation here is expanded by 1 bar through the use of a type 2 stretching. The harmony continues, but the melody gets slightly embellished as it leads into the cadence. The B section of this piece changes things up slightly from the previous, other than the obvious new melodic content. As you can see, this is once again a hybrid number one theme type, antecedent plus continuation. But you can also see that the contrasting idea here has been expanded by 2 bars. This, once again, is done through the use of a type 2 stretching, static harmony with embellished melody. Take a quick listen. The phrase then proceeds to a regular continuation and ends on a PAC. We then get a repetition of the A section, but with some minor changes. The melody begins in the piano for the first half of the phrase, and then the euphonium picks it up and finishes it. The catch to this phrase is that, well, there's no catch. Yes, it is a hybrid, but it's pretty standard. There's no expansions, and it's 8 bars, your regular length. This is what we could refer to as an essentially normative example of Kaplan's theme types, as it follows the structure for a normal hybrid theme. Ah yes, the C section. We get delighted by a surprising change in key, from A flat major to G major. This is a drastic contrast as these two keys are not really related to each other. I mean, G is the leading tone of A flat, so I guess you could argue that. You may notice that for once we don't have a hybrid 1 theme, but instead we have a hybrid 2 theme, antecedent plus cadential idea. However, there is a funny difference in this phrase. Take a listen. The ending of this phrase has an imperfect authentic cadence instead of a perfect authentic cadence, which is not a problem at all actually. The funny thing is that even though it is a 1 chord in the key of G, it doesn't quite feel like it. You can see I label this as IAC becomes HC because I thought this to be the most appropriate way to label this. The music may say one, but my ears point towards somewhere else. I believe this was done on purpose by Sparke to lead into the next section. This D section gets even funnier. Now, when you first listen to this section, you may argue that it actually sounds like two different sections, but let me explain my reasoning for putting them together. To begin with, this is not one of Kaplan's theme types at all. It may begin with the basic and contrasting ideas, but the addition of this cadenza changes it, along with the harmonic content here, which actually is my next point. At the end of the quote-unquote antecedent, we have a one chord in the key of G, but is it a cadence? I think that this first half is here to build harmonic tension leading up to the cadenza. Once at the cadenza, we can see that it is all still in the key of G. This is further confirmed by having an end on the PAC and G. Um, uh, Even though there's no chord, I mean, it ends on a G. What I find interesting in this phrase is that the fact that it's in G major kind of gives it a harmonic and narrative purpose. As I mentioned before, G is, of course, the leading tone of A flat major. Therefore, I believe that this whole D section of the piece is one giant 7 chord in the key of A flat major. Yes, it has cadences in the key of G, but in the larger picture, this phrase serves as a, well, lead-in into the recapitulation of the piece. This leading tone prolongation is both stable and unstable in terms of harmonic function in relation to the primary key and theme. After this, we arrive at the recapitulation, back in the key of A flat major, although it's more of a straight repetition of the first content of the piece. This A section is the same as from when it first appeared. As we near the end of the piece, we also get a repetition of the B section, but this one actually has some differences. The largest difference, albeit small, is the addition of an extra fragmentation in the continuation. The second difference is the addition of a small suffix at the end, a sort of cherry on top to end the piece. This piece is full of beautiful lines, but there is one small part that really sticks out to me. At bar 26 in the A prime section of the piece, we have a tiny use of chromaticism, but oh man, does it catch my attention. It's the addition of that G flat on the euphonium that makes it sound so spicy. Take a listen. I also want to take this opportunity to mention that Spark has made some curious decisions on his voicing of chords. What I mean by curious is that some chords look really strange at times. Take this one bar, for example. The first chord looks like a 6/4 chord ending in what looks like a B flat minor seventh in second inversion. Okay, that's not too strange. But the chord that follows it has, let's see, B flat, E flat, maybe E flat major, A flat, and C. What do you call that? An A flat major at 9 with a 9 in the bass? I'm not a jazz player, so that is strange to me, but maybe to some people it may look completely normal. Especially since this is not a jazzy piece. Chords like these do stick out a lot. I mean, in lead symbols it makes sense, but if you try to put it in Roman numerals, it can get weird. Some thoughts on this piece that I would like to engage with are that this piece, in my opinion, showcases the euphonium's color and melodic capabilities. The euphonium is an instrument that is still not well known as its brass cousins, but as a euphonium player myself, I highly enjoy any piece that shows off the instrument. Philip Sparke has a special place in the euphonium playing as he is one of the few composers that actively writes solos and concertos for euphonium and therefore has been a great contributor to the euphonium repertoire. Something I want to bring up is that the version of the solo that I use for this presentation is the one for euphonium and piano. However, the original version is for euphonium solo with brass band accompaniment. I highly encourage you listen to the original version as it contains so much color to it. If you don't know what a British style brass band is, go ahead and look it up on YouTube and you'll find a whole other set of music that a lot of people here in the US don't know about. But I digress. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation on Song for Aina by Phil Sparke. I hope you enjoyed it.